What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at THIEVUL, a recently released Pokemon that just got a secret move update. On April 1st, April Fool's Day, they decided to give this Pokemon Sucker Punch, and they didn't make any announcement about it. It was very strange, but with Sucker Punch, this thing jumps up to like rank 69, I think, in the Great League. So it's honestly a super force to be reckoned with. Today we're pairing it with Swalot, my favorite poison type in this meta, and then Galarian Moltres as our sweeper with Sucker Punch as well in the back. So without further ado, let's take a look at some battles. Okay, right away we have a terrible lead in Marowak in the first game, so we come in immediately with our THIEVUL, and if they don't throw, I'm actually going to outpace and get to a Night Slash before they even get to their first Bone Club of the match. They do throw one in the move, which does make this awkward because now whoever is going to get to the next move is basically who's the one that's going to throw an alignment. Fortunately, they try and go for a catch. And I full send a play rough here because I want damage. And they do let that through, and at this point they don't even overfarm that much, so I'm just gonna let it go. I have my Swalot for this. I can take a Rock Tomb no problem, so I'm just gonna let this go. And then they still are in sludge range even after that Rock Tomb, so I can just overfarm just a little bit there, go for the sludge. This will probably put them either at 1 HP or take them out, and it does, and they actually give up switch because of that. And I believe we just caught a Bone Club, which is absolutely massive. We did. And now, can we get a full Sucker Punch farm down before they make the Rock Slide? We can, and that is huge. What is that back Pokemon is the question. We have a huge energy advantage, and it's a Talonflame, and unfortunately for my opponent, I am going to make it to 2 Ancient Powers before they can even get to 2 Incinerate, so that is crazy. This one, with no shields remaining, will basically KO the Talonflame. That is double super effective. Sucker Punch down the Credilli, and Moltres sweeps that game. Okay, into the next match we have a Guzzlord on the lead. So this is nice because this is absolutely where we want to see it. On our back 2 Pokemon, Sucker Punch is resisted. So we build up to the Ice Beam, we're baiting with the Sludge, and we actually do grab that shield, which is nice. And now they go for a catch. They are unsuccessful. I probably should come in with my Moltres here because Dynamic Punch would only be neutral, but because their fast move is double resisted here, I can actually live a Dynamic Punch, go for a Night Slash. They have no ability to farm me down, and we get the attack boost, and one more Sucker Punch is enough to KO. Now, can we make the play rough? We cannot. That's okay. We can get off this boosted Night Slash. They'll still do some decent chip, and they shield it, maybe not knowing the counts on the play rough. So they also threw on CMP, which is very unfortunate for my opponent. I will give them 1 shield back because I do want to maintain alignment. And at this point, now I can just go for the Ice Beam. From this range, this will probably KO the Guzzlord. It does. And it is a Clodsire in the back, so we instantly switch. All we have to do is land a charge move, and this game is over. So we're full sending the Brave Bird, and then we're just going to save shields for the Swalot, because at this point, all we have to do is get to Mud Shot and Ice Beam range. Even Sludge probably from this point, maybe not quite, but we are at the Ice Beam already. They would need to make it to 2 moves. My opponent is definitely not getting there. Swalot sweeps that game in the end as well. Into the next match, we have a Greninja on the lead. So this is a bit of an awkward Pokemon, so we're just going to stay in with our Swalot. We can live 1 Hydro Cannon, so we'll let the first one go, but they actually let us outpace, so we're just going to go for that Sludge. We actually grab a shield from the Greninja, and they're going to have to throw back-to-back moves here and give me a Mud Shot in for free if they want to get off their move, but they don't. They opt for better fast move timing, and then they get the move. At this point, I'm in Night Slash range, so I try and go for a catch on the THIEVUL. Did we catch the Hydro? It was the Night Slash. That is huge, but they have a Galarian Wheezing in the back. So this is pretty unfortunate, but it is good that we baited this out because we definitely do not want our Moltres to see this. They let me get to 2 Night Slashes, and these Sucker Punches are honestly adding up. even though they are resisted. We actually get the boost, so they do try to throw their energy. It's just the brutal swing. Are they going to get the farm down? They're not. They're actually forced to throw their energy, and Wheezing actually winning CMP over the THIEVUL there. But they are forced to throw their energy. At this point, we can just let this go. It does not matter. We have Moltres in a great position to sweep. For some reason, they go for a Sludge. And it is a Drapion in the back. So I'm going for this Ice Beam. They let me get to the charge move, which is nice. And at this point, they're probably just going to be an Ancient Power range. So just going to come in with the Moltres. We can even live an Aqua Tail here, especially from a non-Shadow. I mean, it could be a Sludge Bomb. Nope, it is the Aqua Tail. Yeah, we can live 2 of those if we want. But at this point, we got to start shielding something. So shielding up the Aqua Tail. Definitely an Ancient Power range now. So just going to go for the move right away. Ancient Power is enough to KO the Drapion, and now it's just the Greninja in the back. Now they did store some energy, so I have to make a decision. Is this the Hydro? Is this a Night/Bait? And it is the Night/Bait, and they get the attack boost, which is scary, but at this point I believe they're an Ancient Power range, and because we called that bait, they have to make it to back-to-back moves. They're not getting there, so we are able to take that win. Into the next match, Credilli on the lead. This is overall a probably positive lead. We're resisting the Bullet Seed, so they have no ability to farm down, and we have super effective Ice Beam coverage as well. Sludge is neutral in this matchup, so we can always go for those as well. I'm expecting them to shield the first, but I'm still going to full send the Ice Beam, and they do. And at this point, after a second one lands, I wouldn't be surprised if I reset, because I want these Ice Beams to do full damage, and after 2 debuffs, it's not going to do that. So instantly switching into our THIEVUL here. And they do throw right away on alignment, but that does mean a Sucker Punch does go through, which is nice. Rock Tomb connects, does about 50%, and they have a Wiggly in the back anyways, so staying in and chipping doesn't really help my opponent there. It's kind of just a waste of energy and health. We do get a Sludge off onto this Wiggly. Unfortunately, get 1 turn lag, so they actually sneak an extra Charm in, which means they're actually at a Swift now, so they opt to shield. But they still can't farm me down before we can get to another move, so we're just going to go for 2 more, get to the Sludge. This should be enough super effective damage to KO the Wiggly, and now we just have a Moltres into this Credilli in the back, unless they don't throw their energy, because then we're going to get to an Ice Beam. They try to go for the full farm down, they don't get it. What is that Pokemon in the back? It's a Quagsire. Good night, opponent. You're not getting to 2 Stone Edges before I get to a Brave Bird. Furret on the lead. So this is an okay lead, but we have 2 better answers in the back, so I'm instantly going to get into THIEVUL here. Resisting the Sucker Punches is really nice, because even though they have 5 pacing to the Swift, that's not going to do too much damage, and they actually have a Drapion in the back. They're going to be forced to go Aqua Tail here, so I throw right away. This is as soon as they get to the Aqua Tail, and right as I get to the Play Rough, and that does some decent chip. But at this point, I do have to let this go, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going to KO. No, so it actually puts me in Poison Sting farm down range, which is unfortunate. But at this point, I believe they are in Mudshot farm down range, but they do go for the Aqua Tail there, thinking they can get to 2 moves, but they don't, which is nice for me. And now I can just come in with my Moltres. And they're going to once again chip me and then get into their Pokemon in the back. No, they're going to stay in this matchup this time, which is pretty interesting. I could have gone for the Brave Bird there and just ensured this KO, but I didn't want to risk it. I'd actually almost rather come out with some energy and have to use a shield. What is that Pokemon in the back? It's a Talonflame, and that's why they didn't want to come in right away, and they knew they needed to shield energy. We actually get the boost, but unfortunately, I need to be able to get to another Ancient Power, so I throw 1 Sucker Punch, defer the Incinerate damage to my Swallow. I'm able to make it to back-to-back Sludges before they're able to make it back-to-back moves, and they actually just let that go because they know I'd be able to make it to an Ancient Power on my Moltres, and we're able to take that win. Drapion on the lead. This is a pretty neutral matchup, because if they get a Crunch debuff, which seems to happen 100% of the time, then they can flip this matchup. There it is, 100%. And we do have this super effective Mudshots, and we have neutral Ice Beams, and they always shield that. There's almost never a situation where they don't. I should really start baiting, because I haven't met a single one that hasn't. But we do have to shield back, and it's a Malamar in the back. Now this is a situation where I also think I should come in Moltres, because we can just, you know, at least neutralize the superpower. But once again, the side waves are double resisted, and unfortunately we actually lose CMP to the Malamar, which I didn't expect. So I now have to force it to shield that up, go for the Night Slash. This will be enough to put them in farm down range, which is pretty nice. And what are they going to do? They're going to come back in with that lead. No, they have a Wigglytuff in the back, so we are only going to get to a Night Slash here, so I'm going to throw that charge move, and then we're actually sniping with the Swalot because we know Swalot is good on the lead as well, so we can safely come back into this Pokemon. They try and go for a Sludge catch. That is a really nice play by my opponent, but I hold on to my energy, go for the Ice Beam one on the Drapion, and at this point this game is over. They make a really smart play of letting them get as low as possible. I didn't really want to throw those mud shots, but I knew that I didn't want to give them the farm down without taking damage. But now I can come in with my Moltres, I catch the Icy Wind onto my THIEVUL, and that is the nail in the coffin for my opponent. The 1 HP THIEVUL allows us to get to the Brave Bird, and that is game. Guzzlord on the lead again. We've seen this matchup. We're going to play it out the exact same. They actually get out into Dusk Noir, and we have a great response in THIEVUL. Once again, probably should be coming in Moltres. This one we are going to shield because it is a shadow, and they're not going to make it to 2, so I actually get a full Sucker Punch farm down, and we come out loaded with energy. So we have now double super effective play roughs for this Guzzlord. I should have baited here. They're obviously going to shield that, but they are going to be forced to throw energy. Otherwise, I'm going to make it to another play rough, and they actually let me get there. So now, even though we had to shield in the mid game, we grab both shields back, which is great. We can even chip with a Night Slash, which will definitely put this in Ice Beam range, which is really nice. Does some decent chip. They're in the yellow now, but they are loaded with energy. I am waiting the Switch Claw, going to come in with the Swalot, get my fast move denied because that happens every single game. Brutal Swing connects. We can take that very comfortably. They try and go for a catch on Jealous if they don't get there, and we have a Moltres in the back to sweep that game. Claydol on the lead. This is a terrible lead, so we're going to instantly get out into our THIEVUL, and same thing with the Marowak. We can actually outpace and throw on good timing by throwing right as soon as we get to the Night Slash, and they actually shield that up, and then we get a boost. And I don't know if you've noticed, they come in with a Cacturn. These Sucker Punches are resisted damage. Look at that damage. That is absurd. Then they come in with a Blastoise. I'm already at another Night Slash. THIEVUL is absolutely running away with this game. That connects. At this point, they are at back-to-back Hydros, so I don't want to double shield. I will just let this go. But at this game is over. Our THIEVUL has already cleaned up. They actually don't even get that second move off, and this game is over. They're going to go for a Rock Tomb here. We can very comfortably just shield this up. And we can't really go for Ancient Powers here, so I am just going to overfarm, and I am just going to full send the Brave Bird. We have a shield, and they're not going to be able to Mud Slap farm us down. So no point in baiting here. Going for the Brave Bird. My only opponent's win con is calling the bait there, so they'll let that go, and we're able to take that win. Good lead in the next match. We have a Weezing, and they switch out into Credilli. So my opponent is core broken by the Swalot, but unfortunately, I don't have a great response to Credilli up energy. So I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam as soon as I get it after they connect with that Rock Tomb. They're probably going to shield this up, and they do. But at this point, we can just come in with THIEVUL, and this is a neutral matchup, which is not terrible. But we cannot have that Weezing onto our Moltres. So we're just going to go for these Night Slashes. If we get a boost, that would be nice, but we don't. And Switch Timer is up for my opponent, so they actually come right back in with the Weezing, which is a nice play by them. We do connect with the Night Slash. We do not get a boost. Once again, can we get to another Night Slash? We can't. And unfortunately, just like that, we also get one turn lag when we come back in with our Swalot, which is unfortunate. Brutal Swing connects. It looks like 2 of those just won't KO, but I am going to shield because I do want to get off this energy. And I believe if we throw, oh Jesus, they are at back-to-back. So committing the double shield on my Swalot. I need my Swalot, and it's a Gastrodon in the back, so saving that energy, coming in with the Moltres. This is just a body slam. We can live this very comfortably. And even after the Mudslaps, we could probably live another one of these body slams. So I'm actually going to over farm because I want to make it to basically back-to-back moves. They go for another body slam, still no potential to farm down. I'm throwing the Brave Bird at nearly 100 energy, just quite not there, just short. Full send the Brave Bird, it connects. Weezing comes back in. We have the Ancient Power loaded. This will connect, and if they shield, we have a Sludge loaded, so we can combo play. This should be enough to KO the Shadow Weezing, and it does, and now we just have to get to a move against this Credilli. We get to the move, and that is all she wrote. This will not KO, but they're going to have to make it to back-to-back moves, and they're not going to be able to get there before I get to a second one. So they do throw their energy, they're one short, so, and they're in 2 Sucker Punch range, so this game is over. But disaster strikes, we get 1 turn lag, and my opponent is able to get a Bullet Seed plus their charge move through and win that game. Oh my god, Scopely, fix your game. Who do I sound like there? Alright. Anyways, Ariados in the next match. This is a great lead for us because everything they have is resisted. Poison Sting, Lunge, Trailblaze, Cross Poison, all of it is resisted. Mega Horn. Literally everything that the Ariados can learn is resisted. So we are just going to go for the Ice Beam. Our Mud Shots are neutral because they're half poison. Our Sludge is resisted, but all it takes is 2 Ice Beams, it looks like, and we can very, very comfortably take these lunges. They are doing nothing, and they have a Annihilate in the back, and I make a huge mistake. I come in with my thievul. I just reacted. I saw a switch, so I switched. I saw the ghost, and I did not look at what that other typing was. So that gives them the entire farm down, which has put me in a really tough position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in Moltres, hope that they blind throw a Rage Fist. It's kind of my only win con. Did they close combat? No, they did blind throw the Rage Fist, which is huge. They do make it to a potential close combat or an Ice Punch here, so I will respect this damage. It is the close combat, but that Sucker Punch will go through and KO, and it's the Ariados still from the lead, so we can go for the Ancient Power. This is super effective damage. They let that go, and we also get a boost, which is nice. And now we're going to force them to throw their energy. We're just going to shield here. All we have to do is make it to a Brave Bird, and this game is over. We make it to the Brave Bird. We're baiting with the Ancient Power in case we need this energy later on, but we don't. We actually have a Sludge loaded, so we're throwing it right away, comboing here with the Swalot. Not enough to KO, but they're going to need to make it to back-to-back moves here. Rage Fist plus a close combat, and a Rage Fist is not enough to KO from this range. So we are able to take that win. So yeah, that is the newly buffed Sucker Punch on THIEVUL. All of these Pokemon that you see here are in the high 60s, low 70s range on PvPoke, and yet I think this is the most fun and best team that I have played with yet this season. I am not even joking. Off screen, I did another maybe 2 sets with this team, and it has been only positive sets. I'm getting like 4-1 after 4-1 after 4-1. It is absolutely insane. I mean, these Pokemon are great. The reason I use them in the order I did is because I felt like THIEVUL needed just a slight energy advantage to be effective. So that's why I put it on the safe swap position. I felt like with a couple Sucker Punches advantage, this thing could absolutely run away with the game. And I had a game where I got back-to-back Night Slash boosts, and I literally 1v3'd. I mean, the thing is freaking insane. And then Moltres is the exact same thing. We've got a Sucker Punch user. It's a little slower to the charge moves, but we have that nuke in Brave Bird, which is really nice, and then Ancient Power for coverage, and then Swalot. Like I've been saying it over and over, I really think it's the best poison in this meta. It's the poison that has the best play into the other poisons, and that's what I like about it so much. So yeah, that's the team. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.